Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today. This is Vector Gaming's own RightClick, and none other than Vector Gaming's Fresh is with me today. Say what's up, buddy.
What's up?
And this is the first time Fresh is joining me, the Terran macro god himself, and I am very excited. You laugh it up, sir, but you know it's true. And what map are we playing on today?
This is Antigua Shipyard.
And
Darren's on the right. My teammate vGoCRaM is on the left.
yes, we do have the Zerg on the left in that Vector Gaming's own vGoCRaM. Gonna see what he can pull out today against that Terran on the right, none other than MGShaDe. So Fresh, tell me, as a Terran, and your expertise, obviously, quite obviously, being Terran versus Zerg, what would you do in this matchup on this map here with these positions?
On this map, I would definitely open Reactor Hellion because it's a huge map, and I'd want to have map control and be able to see what's going on. And then I would just transition into like a quick stim before I got my tanks, so I could have some like mobility on the map, so I could handle his creep tumors. And then I'd probably take an early third, since tanks at the bottom of the ramp right there can guard all three bases.
And so what is that position after you take that map control with the early Hellions? Is the only thing that really can take away map control from Terran is Muta, or can Speedlings actually take that away from the Hellion play?
Yeah, if you don't pay attention to your four Hellions, then they can just get at you with a bunch of Speedlings and you can lose all your map control.
So you're hearing it first, only with obviously Terran is, I'm not going to say overpowered, because obviously we don't want to get into the discussion of imbalanced, but yeah, so obviously with good map awareness, the Terran Hellion play is so strong. On taking that early map control, we see the Terran taking, going very standard actually, just getting his barracks and gas all in good time, very standard play. And we do see the Zerg getting that hatchery out almost complete, and that gas and spawning pool is about halfway completed at this time. This Overlord placement here, Fresh, tell me, as a Terran, are you hoping to not see Overlords? Do you actually go for a lot of drops in your play?
Mostly I go with like, get my first medevac out, and I have like just the Marines and the Hellions right there, so I could pressure and then make them make more units, and then just control their creep tumors at first. But later on, it's best, I think, just to take a position somewhere and then branch off and do drop play from there. So yeah, I do a lot of drop play.
And we do.
And as far as his Overlords go, like, oh, never mind. What were you saying?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that the Zerg should pretty much position it behind the mineral line at the Nat, and then this other one he had, I don't know why he leaves both of them down there at the bottom of his ramp, but he could swing it around to the main.
And we do.
And then when he scouts with his Zerglings, you can see where the Marines are at, and then send in his Overlord when maybe it's safe for sure.
Right, and as a Terran versus Zerg, you always have to keep this in mind, that Zerg is a reactionary race, and you kind of want to keep your tech and your pushes secretive as long as humanly frickin' possible. And we do see the double Hellion coming out of the factory, rallied straight to that Zerg's natural expansion, and it's just barely out of the sight of that Overlord. But he does have that Xel'Naga tower wrapped up with two Marines, and that Zergling actually did not see those two Hellions moving in. But vGoCRaM wisely, very wisely, planning that spine crawler at his natural is going to help deter those Hellions. But oh my god, the spine is actually uprooted, but a little loss of APM by Shade. He's actually not controlling those Hellions at the moment. But wow, I really like what he's doing here. Check out the natural of the Zerg. Those Hellions are in place to deter any and all Zerglings, and those Marines are just going to get that free Overlord kill. What do you think about that that play right there, Fresh?
That's actually a pretty decent move, but like like just how I was mentioning those two Overlords a little bit earlier, like I'm not sure that was a good idea. I don't see any reason for those to be down there. But one thing that vGoCRaM does do that I noticed is he inches his spine crawler forward every time he lays a creep tumor, so we could push it out without having to worry about the Hellions knocking him out every time he adds a new one.
And we do have the Sacrificial Overlord in the base of MGShaDe, our Terran friend on the right, and he's going to get an absolute peek at what's going on. And he does see those 2 tech labs going down on the factories. Do you think we're going to see some mass Hellion tank play out of our Terran friend, Fresh?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's going to go into tanks right away.
Alright, oh, also we do see, checking the production tab, we see an armory in production right above the mineral line in the main base of ShaDe. So he may be mixing some Thors into that composition. He had an early command center which he planted down completely on par with the Zerg at this moment. Roach Warren. Oh wow, we do have a huge number of Hellions that just did a big run by into the main base of the Zerg. But we're gonna have 3 Queens in there to mop this up. Those Hellions not doing too much damage versus the Queens, and those drones are running for dear life. But wow, MGShaDe not going for the huge pod of drones there. Rather just gonna get themselves tied up by the Zerglings in the corner of that base. Checking out the units lost tab. vGoCRaM, wow, vGoCRaM has lost a lot of units. So a very effective, it looked like a 6 Hellion push on that engagement there. Fresh, what do you think about that 6 Hellion push? And do you think it's proper to go? Do you think it's proper actually to research Blue Flame before doing that?
What I like about that move, normally like I wouldn't sacrifice my Hellions because then you don't have any idea what the Zerg's doing. But since he is going mech and he has the reactor, he can just replenish those and still keep his presence on the map. And then also he got to scout the Roach Warren and then keep the Zerg's economy under control. So all in all, that was a pretty good move.
Yes.
But no, I wouldn't wait for Blue Flame because it would just take too long. He had a good timing right there.
Yes, indeed. And that Terran seemed to accomplish everything and more that he wanted to, getting a mass amount of drone kills. But we do see in the supply that vGoCRaM is slightly ahead. Checking the units tab. Wow! We do see very even harvester account. This Terran in MGShaDe is doing a great job at keeping up that that harvester production, as vGoCRaM really only has a few roaches on the field, has been droning quite heavily, so that Terran has been doing a stellar job. And we do see a Nidus network going down for the Zerg, and in this map we see a lot of void areas in the main especially of the Terran, so maybe he can sneak a Nidus network in there. Obviously some innovative play on North American Ladder at this moment. Fresh, are we seeing a lot of Nidus play in this high Masters?
I personally don't go mech a lot, so I'm not like in the tail end of the Nidus play, but yeah, I think he just improvised this since he knows that the mech is going to be immobile, and then he just put up Nidus just for that.
So great innovation there by the Zerg. The Nidus network is complete now. I don't see any overseers or overlords in position to really drop one anytime soon, but we do have some Blue Flame Hellions. That upgrade now done. Gonna roast those Lings alive, and now gonna take map dominance, and just if in and out that Zelnaga tower in the middle of the map and get complete vision. We do see one Zergling gonna spot for that third of the Terran. We do see the third of vG.oCRaM, not very saturated yet, but that Queen just popping out, so he's gonna have a decent amount of larva to add into his composition. And okay, alright, and we still have that Thor production. We have 2 on the field. We have a light amount of siege tanks, and it seems to me like the metagame of Terran vs Zerg went from a Marine siege tank, and it does seem, all the replays I'm seeing lately, is transitioning into that heavy mech play. What do you think about that?
I don't know, I have mixed feelings about mech. It's not personally my style, it just doesn't have enough, in your face action for the Zerg. Like, you can just build up almost like without any resistance right now, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm not sure why he went Thor so early. It was kind of just like a generic move where he could have just had a much better siege line and maybe had an earlier third.
And your point is very, very valid indeed, as I know from watching several of your games. You like to do maybe like a 3 siege tank push around like 10 minutes to kind of stall that Zerg's third. And with this immobility of the mech, he's really not able to do that, because if you only have about like 3-4 Thors on the field, that Zerg can easily spot that and just make a couple pumps of Lings and clean that up quite quickly. So MGShaDe, maybe not the best decision to go mech, but after that exchange that he did with those Hellions on that run by to the main, getting so many drones, maybe he just felt confident enough to do that. But we do see the supply, the Zerg up about 26 supply at about 156 of 158. He's damn close to a food block, which that is very uncharacteristic of vGoCRaM. But we do see we see a few overlords in place to maybe drop that Nidus very soon. He dropped that very early on, and it's kind of strange to me that it hasn't been... Oh, but it is loaded up. That Nidus network fresh. If you check out that Nidus, it is loaded up with plenty roaches. And we do see the Terran pushing out with a large ball of mech, a handful of Thors, some siege tanks, and some blue flame Hellions to back that up. But that overlord placement by vGoCRaM did see that move out, and those Lings at the Xel'Naga Cavern did see that, and we do see a Nidus Worm in the main base of the Terran. He has a Thor right there, Fresh. He has a Thor right there, but he does not see it, and we have Lings screaming out from the Nidus network into the main of the Terran. He's going to pull almost all his SCVs out and stick them on that Thor to try to whittle down that Roach army, but it is obviously no match for the amount of Roaches streaming in, and they're going to get a lot of kills up in the main base of the Terran.
He did a Nidus at the third too. It's getting shut down, but you know, has his attention in more than one spot.
Awesome catch on that.
He can't just send his all his tanks back to his main, because he has to defend his third too. Another one's going up in the third too.
Check that out, Fresh. Check that out. The Roaches on the high ground are gonna get those free siege tank kills, and that.
Check out the main push at the bottom of the ramps.
Yeah, and that Terran really has no other choice at this point. He's just got the multitasking by vGoCRaM, dropping those dual Niduses at the same time. And those siege tanks will siege up very strong against Roaches. But obviously the number of Roaches, the supply being almost 200 to 120, they're just going to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, the Terran just could not handle that. I thought the Overlord timing for vGoCRaM was really good. It's like almost like he had experience versus this. He just sent it out one at like where the Terran would be leaving from, and then in the back of his base. So as soon as he pushed out, he just throw out the Nidus, and this is pretty much what happened.
And do you think that is a reaction from the Zerg? From that Terran? Obviously he sent that sacrificial Overlord in there and saw that heavy immobile mech play coming out of the Terran. Obviously he only saw one barracks in the production facilities, and these Hellions are not going to do much versus those Roaches in the main base of the Terran. And that push got completely wiped up, so I do not imagine MGShaDe staying in this game much longer. So obviously Fresh, is that a reaction by the Zerg, that Nidus play?
I think ever since he first noticed that it was going to be mech, that was pretty much his game plan. It's just to abuse the mobility of the Terran. So yeah, it seems just a smart reaction.
And I know Terran vs. Terran. What have you been seeing Terran vs. Terran on ladder as of late? Has it been this mech play, or is it that 1-1-1?
There's actually a pretty big variety. A lot of people do like 1-1-1 all-ins, but a lot of people do bio now too, and then Marine tank has come back a lot, but I just stick with my mech personally.
So you are with the mech TBT. I'm actually
yeah, I still think
I've been going that super standard, like that straight up beta play. Like I'll go straight up Marine tank Viking right now versus Terran. And I am on digressing slightly, because this game looks more than over, as the planetary fortress of the Terran will in fact fall to this devastating number of Roaches in this third base.
There's a lot of things that Terran could have did better. I could like go over a huge list of them. Just to start with, like the way he opened doors was just, there's no reason for that. Like, he should have scouted and saw that things are roaches. Like, when he sent the 6 Hellions and he knew it was roaches, like, he shouldn't have invested all those resources into Thors if he wasn't going to push and he was just going to sit back on them. That wasn't really optimal. And then, like, if I were to play mech, what you have to do is build up a bunch of tanks and then take a position. Like, you can't just sit back and then push out with one huge push like the way he did, especially. And like, since he should have known, like, looked at the roaches and seen that there were no mutas coming, like, he could have been prepared with one turret. But if the turret at his main was like lower, it would have hit the Overlord and like alerted him of that like way before. He should have had like a perimeter or something to prevent that. Like, when you play mech, you can't just like move out and hope it works. Like, you have to prepare for counterattacks, because that's what's to be expected from Zerg when you go mech.
So for all of our Terran viewers out there, please listen to the wise words of Fresh. Fresh, I believe you're definitely a top 8 masters, hovering around what, a 1300 rating, and very, very successful versus Zerg in my experiences of watching you. So please heed this advice and take it accordingly. And we do see a large Hellion force remassing for the Terran in his natural expansion, but to the very displease of me, the absolute worst thing I like to see when I am playing some Zerg is Broodlords completely unscouted, and those Zerglings are going to try to get us around on those Hellions to no avail, as they are not on creep. Those Hellions are just so fast and deal out so much damage with that Blue Flame upgrade. I do not even know if he knows. Broodlords, yes, being scouted in the middle of the map. And
he knows.
Finally, oh wow, and we do have a very subtle fuck from the Terran coming out is, I believe, what all Terrans say when they when Broodlords are revealed to them unbeknownst. So obviously, Fresh, scouting is such an important tool in that Terran's arsenal, and it only takes the sacrifice of one mule to do. And this army is just going to get completely mopped up by those Broodlords. We don't even see any reinforcing lings with them. The Corruptors are going to make quick work of that one Viking that is on the field for the Terran, and this entire army will go down, not even pulling it back. MG.ShaDe has seemingly all but given up. Yes.
Yeah, he's frustrated. He just won't leave right now. Salt in the wound.
Yes, it is rather odd that he's still in this game. Checking the income tab, astronomically higher by our Zerg player. Wow, with 98 Harvesters to boot, and MG.ShaDe just leaving the game without a GG. So Fresh, give me some key points in that game. What did the Terran see to go mech, and what did the Zerg see to decide to make that incredible reaction to Nidus?
So basically, the Terran just decided to go mech without any factors. He wasn't reacting to anything. That was just what he decided to do. And then vGoCRaM just totally reacted to what he was doing. He had the Overlord scouts and he had Lings going at his base constantly to see what was going on. And then after he knew it was mech for sure, he just planned to like hit mech's weakness. Just when they move out, they can't defend it at all places at once, and he just took advantage of that. And he also probably saw that there were a bunch of early Thors, so he could capitalize with just a ton of brooches.
And very good job by vG's own vGoCRaM defending that off. And that first push. Now tell me real quick before we sign out, as a Terran and you do some economic damage to the Zerg, should you actually feel safe?
No, you shouldn't feel safe. If you just do a little bit of economic damage and then go away and leave the Zerg to their own devices, like the damage can be nullified really fast with the way the Zerg can drone up. Like if you follow up, then like if you take out drones from a Zerg and you're attacking, then it's basically permanent damage because they can't drone back up. So if you just let them drone and drone, it minimizes the damage completely. But if you do it and then you're attacking or you keep up pressure, it'll limit the amount of drones that they have all game.
Yes, and very wise words indeed from our own Vector Gaming's own Terran scientist in VG's Fresh. I want to thank you so much for joining me here on, I believe it is your first cast. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was my first cast.
Is there anything you'd like to plug? Is there anywhere we can find you? Any YouTube pages? Or I believe you actually are offering lessons right now.
Yeah, I'm offering lessons. My account is fresh. Just 554 is my character number. You can just drop me a message or email me at esgamersnet@gmail.com.
So,
and
yes, indeed. Vector Gaming's own Fresh, tip-top, absolutely exceptional Terran play is offering lessons. So if you'd like to get in on that and you'd like to improve your Terran game, be sure to check him out. So other than that, this has been Vector Gaming's own RightClick alongside Fresh, and we want to thank you so very much for joining us tonight in this pretty nice, pretty straightforward ZVT. So unless Fresh, you have anything else to say?
Nah, just expect more Terran videos from me.
So I want to thank you guys for joining us, and we are out.